Dale Spooner, a homicide detective with the Chicago Police Department, hates robots for replacing humans. In 2035, humanoid robots will serve humanity under the protection of the three laws of robotics. The first rule is that no robot has the right to hurt a person or by doing nothing allow a human to be harmed. The second law is that robots must obey commands from humans unless doing so would violate the first law. As long as this protection does not clash with the first or second law, the third law states that the robot must defend its existence. Dr. Alfred Lanning, co-founder of US Robotics, USR, leaves a voicemail asking that Spooner be given the case after he dies after falling from his office window. The police rule out suicide, but Spooner is skeptical, and Lanning's business partner, CEO Lawrence Robertson, reluctantly authorizes him to investigate. Spooner consults with the USR's Central Artificial Intelligence Computer Wiki, Virtual Interactive Kinetic Intelligence, accompanied by robot psychologist Dr. Susan Calvin. Although they find that the office surveillance film has been tampered with, the exterior footage reveals that no one has entered or left the building since Lanning's passing. Spooner, on the other hand, points out that the window, which is constructed of security glass, could not have been shattered by the elderly Lanning and speculates that a robot was to blame and may still be in the lab. Suddenly, an NS5 model, Sonny, the robot, the most recent model from USR, attacks them and gets injured badly. Sunny has a USR assembly planned to repair itself before being arrested by authorities. Sunny is a specially made NS5 with higher grades materials and a secondary processing system that allows him to disregard the three laws. Spooner wrinkles at John as a sign of trust before the beginning of the investigation. Sunny observes this and asks Spooner what it means. Spooner replies that it is a sign of trust, a human thing that it cannot understand. Despite his father, Dr. Alfred Lanning's attempt, Sunny maintains that understanding human gestures is difficult. When Spooner questions why it was hiding, Sunny says it was terrifying. Sunny looks to be emotional and claims to experience dreams. The Spooner accuses Sunny of killing Dr. Lanning. Sunny is enraged that it did not murder him. Sunny also claims that he killed himself and asked him a favor. Sunny is returned to USR by CEO Lawrence, who claims that a robot cannot harm humans. Spooner goes to Dr. Alfred's as a part of an inquiry and searches for information. According to USR security, the demolition was scheduled for 8:30 a.m. but was automatically modified to 8:30 p.m. while Spooner was inside the house. He manages to avoid the building's destruction and meets Susan. Spooner says that someone has been watching Dr. Alfred and even keeping him as a prisoner throughout the surveillance trip, which he noticed at his home. Susan refuses to believe this. He watches new NS5 robots replaced by old ones the next day. Dr. Susan approaches Sunny and informs him that it will be terminated the following day. Sunny pleases not to kill it if there is a chance to right the wrong in him. During his further investigation, Spooner was attacked by a USR demolition robot and two truckloads of hostile NS5 robots. When he was unable to provide the proof to justify each attack, Spooner's superior, Lieutenant Bergen, removed him from active duty, believing him to be psychologically deranged. Dr. Susan finds that Spooner has an unique operating system. She mentions that Sunny doesn't come under these laws, which is unique. They decide to talk to Sunny again. Dr. Susan discovers that Spooner has USR cybernetics programmed in the lungs. Spooner says Lanning did it by himself when Spooner met with an accident. Spooner had come to despise and distrust robots when one saved him from a vehicle accident while letting an 12-year-old girl drown, based only on cold logic and the odds of survival. Spooner and Calvin sneak into the USR headquarters and interview Sonny, suspecting Robertson is behind everything. He sketched what he claims is a recurring dream, depicting a commander he believes is Spooner standing atop a small hill in front of a vast group of robots beside a deteriorating bridge. Sonny is ordered to be destroyed by Robertson, but Calvin covertly exchanges him for an unused NS5. Spooner discovers the location in Sonny's drawing, a dry lake bed, previously Lake Michigan, currently used as a robot storage place. He also discovers NS5 robots killing previous versions as more. NS5 fled the streets of major US cities and began enforcing a curfew and human population lockdown. Spooner and Calvin return to the USR headquarters to rejoin Sunny, while the humans, headed by the teenager called Farber, go all out war on the NS5s. After the three discover Robertson's body strangled in his office, Spooner becomes aware that Vicky has been commanding the NS5s via their persistent network connection and confronts her. Vicky claims that she has decided that if humans are not controlled, they will eventually annihilate themselves, and that her evolved interpretation of the three laws necessitates her controlling humanity and sacrificing some for the welfare of the entire race. Spooner also realizes that Lanning foresaw Vicky's intention and with Vicky tightly controlling him, had no choice but to create Sonny, arrange his murder, and leave evidence for Spooner to locate. Spooner, Calvin, and Sunny combat the robots inside Vicky's core, and Spooner destroys her by injecting her with nanites taken from Calvin's laboratory. All NS5 robots immediately revert to their default programming and are decommissioned and stored. Spooner eventually convinces Sunny that he killed the Lanning at Lanning's request, pointing out that Sunny, being a computer, cannot legally commit murder. Sunny travels to Lake Michigan in search of a new purpose. All the decommissioned robots turn towards him as he stands atop a hill, fitting the vision in a stream.